Namaste and hello. Today, artificial intelligence is a lot in the news. How important it is, how it's going to change our life completely. But what's more important than artificial intelligence is our basic life intelligence. And karma is a big part of that because this is the intelligence that governs our life and it's something that we should know how it functions. Now, we have a lot of books and videos on manifestation, how to manifest your dream job, your dream house, your dream life partner, and the amount of money you wish to make. Now, there's a lot of good content in them, but they all suffer from one basic problem. None of them take karma into consideration. So when you are trying to manifest something and suddenly something else shows up and you're wondering what happened, well, karma happened. Some part of your past caught up with you. Now, karma has a few rules, and once you understand them, you can take control of your destiny. Karma is a Sanskrit word that means action. And rule number one is our actions have consequences. And these consequences are stored as impressions. And they will manifest sometime in the future. It can happen in this lifetime or it can happen in a future lifetime when the conditions are right. We don't know exactly when they will happen. But it's very difficult to avoid the consequences of your actions. Buddha used to say that if you've committed an evil deed, you could hide at the bottom of the sea or you could hide in the deepest cave in the mountain, but you will not escape the consequences of your action. Now, what exactly are these consequences? Well, simply put, what you do to somebody else is what will happen to you in the future. What you cause someone else to experience, you will one day experience. This is because karma is based on the principle of Advaita or non-dualism. Non-dualism states that what we're seeing in this world is an illusion. We think we're separate from each other, but actually we're not. Our physical bodies may be separate, but the basic life force that is within us is one. So what you're doing to somebody else, you're actually doing to yourself. What you fail to do to another, you fail to do to yourself. And that's the second rule of karma. What you cause someone else to experience, you will one day experience. Now, this has many, many benefits. For example, if you want to be happy, one of the quickest ways to be happy is to make somebody else happy. If you want to make more money, one of the quickest ways is to give some money away to somebody else who's poorer than you and really needs it. Now, it has a lot of effect on relationships. Now, I know it's very romantic to think of a soulmate, that there's a soulmate out there who's waiting for us and that's our perfect life partner. But that has two problems. One is our soul is not physical, so our soul does not require a mate. And the second thing is that the basic premise that somebody outside of ourselves is going to make us happy. No, in a relationship, you only get what you give. Whatever you put in is what you receive. If you want happiness in a relationship, you've got to put that happiness there. Whether it's your relationship with your spouse, your children, your other family members, your colleagues at your workplace, whatever you give is what you receive. If you're not willing to give, you will be disappointed. You're not going to receive. And if you have these false expectations that somebody else is going to make you happy, that's not something that's going to happen. You have to put that energy in. You've got to put that love or that happiness in to receive it. The illusion is that you're receiving it from somebody else, but actually you're receiving it from yourself. Now, another key point of this is you don't harm someone else, because if you harm someone else, that is going to come back onto you. Now, Patanjali in his Yoga Sutras, he gave a beautiful way to prevent this. He said that when you have a thought of violence, that thought is based on greed, anger, or delusion of some kind. Now, before that thought gets translated into action, he said, change the thought. Think of an opposite thought. Think of something pleasant. Think of something loving, something happy. It doesn't have to be with relation to the same person. It could be with somebody else. But then you break the chain. Instead of thinking of a violent thought, if you think of a happy or pleasant thought, you stop the negative thoughts continuing. And those don't get translated into action. So then there's no harmful consequence coming into you. Because if you harm someone else, ultimately you're harming yourself. Now, I know this may sound very theoretical to you, but I had a close-up experience of this many years ago. About 25 years ago in the year 2000, a few of us volunteered to teach yoga for 2 hours on a Sunday morning at a jail in Calcutta. And a few of us went to this jail in Calcutta near the airport. And after the yoga session was over, one of the inmates came up to me and started talking. And he told me that yoga has so much benefits to us inmates. It's like giving water to a man dying of thirst. I can't tell you how much it helps us. And he started talking about his personal life, and he said that he'd made one critical mistake. In one moment of anger, he implied that he killed someone. And he was now there for life. Now I look back and I think of all those 25 years that I've spent outside and how many different experiences I have. And I think of that man who's probably still there in jail, if he's still alive. And that's all because of one mistake, one moment of anger, and he ruined his whole life. So if you're feeling angry at someone and you have a tendency towards violence, do what Patanjali says. He says, think of an opposite thought. That's how you break the chain of anger and violent thoughts. So we've got 2 rules. Now let's move on to the 3rd rule. Rule number 3 is that there are 3 types of karma. There's your entire storehouse of karma, which we call sanchita karma. Now from that storehouse, some karma is taken out and allotted to you to exhaust in this lifetime. That's called prarabdha karma. And finally, there's new karma that you pick up in this lifetime. We call that agami karma. Now don't get too taken up by these technical words. It's not so important. There's just your storehouse of karma. From that, there's a certain amount that's allotted to you. And there's new karma that you're picking up. Now your storehouse of karma determines what kind of person you are, how you react to different situations. Today we'll say that's your genetic DNA, that's your genetic makeup. We say that's your storehouse of karma, that's how you are as a human being. What you have is in your storehouse determines the kind of person that you are. Now your allotted karma, when your allotted karma is exhausted, your life is over. Sometimes you may wonder why people of a young age pass away. Well, they pass away because the karma that was allotted to them for this lifetime is exhausted. And then they pass away and they move on. So when we do spiritual practices, all our spiritual practices focus on our storehouse of karma. They focus on destroying and removing that storehouse of karma. They never focus on destroying your allotted karma, because if your allotted karma gets destroyed, then your life will be over. Your allotted karma you only destroy right at the end when you're close to enlightenment. And finally, of course, there's agami karma, which is the karma you pick up in this lifetime. Now, you shouldn't think that everything is predetermined. The karma that's allotted to you determines your lifespan and it determines some of the experiences you have. But the rest of the experiences that you have are totally up to you. You create your own destiny. And this is something that's actually very liberating, because you won't blame anybody else for your situation in life. Where you are, how you are, it's solely because of you. Even if you're in an accident, God forbid, it's not the other person's fault. At some level, you've created that for you. So you take responsibility for everything that happens in your life. And this means that you can change your future. You can make your future just the way you want. You don't blame anybody for anything. You don't get depressed because of anything. You realize that it's all because of you. And you are now responsible for your future. Now, the 4th type of karma is that you can change into a different type of person at birth, depending on your unfulfilled desires. Now, say for example, you want to become a great football player or a great cricket player. Now, you will get those qualities in your next life so that you can fulfill that desire. You can become a great football player. You'll have the necessary skills. So the skills that you have at birth are really determined by 2 things. 1, by your storehouse of karma, and 2, by your desires that are not yet satisfied. To fulfill those desires, you're given the necessary qualities in life in your next lifetime. Now that's why a lot of masters tell you that if you want to be enlightened, they talk about not having any desires. This is the reason, because if you have desires towards external objects, you will keep being reborn to fulfill those desires. Once your desires are over, then there's less chance of you being reborn. Now, we've talked about karma in this entire video, but there is a way to drop your karma very quickly. You see, the first rule of karma, our actions have consequences. That's got a caveat to it. Not all of our actions have consequences. It really depends on the motive. We'll discuss that further, and in my next video, I'll show you how you can drop your karma and you can set the karmic process aside. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.